What's happening, guys? It's your girl Mina, and the WSL transfer window has finally come to a close. Manchester United have had a pretty productive window, especially with incomings and outgoings, but of course I'm going to start with the biggest topic of them all, is Mary Earps wanting to leave Manchester United. Now, a few weeks ago during the transfer window, Arsenal put in what would have been a record bid for a goalkeeper. Of course, Manchester United went on to break that record with a signing in the transfer window, and I'm going to come to that later into the video. But regarding Mary Earps, Arsenal put in a bid twice, and Manchester United have stayed firm on their belief that she is not for sale. They notified her team and Mary Earps herself that they will not be letting her go this year. Of course, she's got 12 months left on her contract, and now they begin contract talks with her, but it's very obvious that she wants to leave. It's reported today in the Daily Mail that she actually came back from the World Cup and requested that she'd like to join Alicia Russo at Arsenal. Now, of course, Arsenal wouldn't put in a bid for a player if they didn't know whether or not the player wanted to join, and Manchester United have actually moved within the window with that in mind. So I'm going to start particularly with the outgoings for this summer transfer window. Let's get into it. When I spoke to Mark Skinner after the loss in the FA Cup final, his exact words to me was that Chelsea are going to go out and spend, Arsenal are going to go out and spend, and Manchester United have to go out and spend in the transfer window. That's, of course, what they did. But in particular, looking at the outgoings, they've actually replaced quite a few players quite well, and also they were able to get rid of players that essentially were just not going to play at the club. Mark Skinner now has a team of all of his signings. All previous managers' signings are now gone. So going into this season right now, this team is a full Mark Skinner squad. With the outgoings, of course, Maria Thosadottir joined Brighton, Sophie Bagley joined Brighton, of course Ona Battier left for Barcelona on a free, Alicia Russo left to Arsenal on a free, Aissatou Tuankara was released at the end of the season, Vilde Risa was let go as well, and of course Jess Simpson went out on loan. I might be missing players, I'm doing this off the top of my head, but those are the main players that left, and also Adriana Leon has left, and Ivana Fuso. So that's quite a lot of outgoings that Manchester United have allowed to leave the club. These were essentially, except for, I would say, Ona Battier, Alicia Russo, and maybe Marta Thomas, who's also left to Tottenham. Those were players that were regularly involved. Marta Thomas was a regular appearance off the bench, but essentially these are players that did not play a lot at the club, and these were players that essentially were just not in Mark Skinner's plans. Of course, Ona Battier and Alicia Russo, they are an anomaly in this instance. They just could not come to an agreement. Now, I know a lot of fans that I spoke to at the end of last season were worried about losing Ona Battier on a free, one of the best, I would say, not even one of the best, the best fullback in the world. Manchester United have brought in a replacement at fullback position, but of course it's not a direct replacement. Now, if you think about all the incomings now, Manchester United did start a bit slow in the window in comparison to the counterparts, WSL counterparts like Arsenal, Chelsea. Obviously, Man City only brought in one signing this summer transfer window, so it'll be interesting to see how their season works out. But Arsenal and Chelsea did a bulk of their moves earlier in the transfer window, whereas Manchester United tend to wait for a lot of outgoings to happen and then a lot of incomings occur. Now, obviously, the biggest ones, I think, in terms of development is Evie Rabjon and Emma Watson, two young players under the age of 21 that can essentially grow into this Manchester United team. Still young, still raw, but have a very high ceiling. That's what Mark Skinner has described them as, and that's what a lot of fans are optimistic about. So you get the opportunity to see these young players get nurtured into these professionals at Manchester United. And then, of course, the more experienced players, I think the two biggest signings of the window has to be the Brazilian forward Jace, which came shortly after the World Cup. Manchester United paid a big fee for her to Barcelona. It was an ongoing, long negotiation. They paid roughly around 300,000 euros plus add-ons. So Manchester United were happy to spend in this window. And of course, Irina Guerrero, Hinata Miyazawa, these are players that have all come in for interesting fees, but also particularly into positions and roles that need to be filled. Not just be filled, but be filled with quality and depth. Of course, yesterday, transfer deadline day, saw three announcements, and one announcement was made today. But altogether, they did 4 signings on transfer deadline day. One of the most busiest deadline days I can remember in a minute for Manchester United. And of course, these were big big signings. First of all, Gabby George from Everton, the England fullback, a product of Manchester United's Academy for Excellence. Welcome home, welcome back to Manchester United. And of course, this is a position that offers rotation and also quality in depth. And also after the season she's had with Everton, this could also be her opportunity to maybe get some England call-ups under her belt. Manchester United paid her release clause of around 150k, and Everton couldn't really do much. It was signed on the dotted line by midnight. Of course, then Fallon Tullis-Joyce, straight from America to Manchester United. Now, this is the most interesting signing for me personally, because I feel like with the possible departure of Mary Earps either in January or in the summer next year, Manchester United have paid a record fee for a goalkeeper. Now, remember a few weeks ago there was a record bid for a goalkeeper in Mary Earps. Manchester United went and broke that record to bring in essentially what will be Mary Earps' replacement. I feel like Manchester United are setting themselves up where, you know, if Mary Earps does not sign, does not extend, and she wants to leave, or they decide to cash in on January because, you know, there could be dressing room issues and whatnot, they've got their number one keeper or number one backup for their goalkeeping position. Now, phenomenal goalkeeper, very talented and still young, only I think about 26 years old, so has a heap of years left here, and hopefully her prime years will definitely be at Manchester United, a USA international, so that's got the international experience as well as club experience. And of course she will probably be in rotation for that goalkeeper spot throughout the season, especially with a lot of games to come, hopefully Champions League, Conti Cup, FA Cup, WSL. There's a lot to play for. Of course, the last announcement of the day was Melvin Mallard, loan signing from Lyon, French striker, going to light up the WSL, mark my words, guys. And Manchester United have also negotiated an option to buy next summer. So if she does have a good loan spell, and Manchester United, of course, want a striker, then she is there. And of course, it's expected, according to people close to the situation, it is expected that Manchester United might go back for Carolyn, the Brazilian forward currently playing in North Carolina. It's likely they will go back for her in January. The club reluctant to sell during their season, and of course that's very understandable. She shares an agent with Jace, so of course there's that relationship there already. But Manchester United have not limited their options in the forward line, and bringing in resurgence, I think, provides some quality amongst that front line. That attacking forward trio or quad, whatever you want to call it, is going to be looking very exciting today. A heap of experience, not just at club level, but also international level. And of course, they have Champions League experience. Now, when Manchester United were recruiting this summer, they had Champions League in mind, which is why they targeted quite a few players that have that experience in Champions League football and also have that ability to play a role in a team that can win silverware. That's the most important thing. Mark Skinner here is building he's built his foundation, and now he's built his squad, and the next thing is definitely to win something. He has to win some sort of silverware this season. Of course, across the season I will be doing videos regarding how Manchester United season's going, following the women's team, etc, etc. So be sure to make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see all that content. Let me know what you guys think regarding Manchester United's transfer window. What would you rate it out of 10? I think a lot of people were feeling a bit pessimistic regarding the Mary Earps situation, and one thing I will say, in my honest opinion, is that players come and go. Whatever club you support, players will always come and go. It's always about how the team prepares for those potential departures and how the team moves on from it. Now, Manchester United have essentially prepared for Mary Earps' departure by bringing in a new goalkeeper who will essentially take over that number one spot. So by the time she does leave, she's got enough experience to kind of fill those gloves of Mary Earps, which I think it will be difficult because Mary Earps is a phenomenal keeper, but we have to give players the opportunities to prove themselves. Now, like I said, Mark Skinner has a phenomenal team right now. It's a mix of experience, a mix of quality, a mix of depth across that back line, including the midfield, and then in that front line as well, and in the goalkeeper position. So it'll be very exciting what Manchester United can do. Now, today was the draw for the UEFA Women's Champions League second round. Manchester United were drawn to Paris Saint-Germain. Of course, UEFA, first time Manchester United in the Champions League, so they give us PSG, but PSG have not looked as electric as they have in the past. Of course, got some great quality in their team, and it will be a reunion for Aissatou Tuankara and Manchester United players. Of course, she joined PSG on a free shortly after being released by Manchester United. These games will be played, I think, on the 10th, 11th of October, and then the week after that is the second leg. Manchester United will be playing their home fixture at Old Trafford, so if you want to go to that game, it's during the men's international break. I highly encourage you guys go. If you want to see Manchester United women and you have the ability to do so, I highly do encourage it. This is Manchester United's first involvement in UEFA Champions League, so they're going to need fans, they're going to need everyone behind them, they're going to need a very, very loud crowd. Like I said, let me know, guys, what you guys think about Manchester United's transfer window. I would give it a 7 out of 10. In all honesty, I would give it a 7 out of 10. I think the fact that they left a lot of it quite late is, you know, it brings the grading a bit down. A lot of transfers were done in the last one or 2 weeks of the transfer window, essentially similar to Chelsea, Arsenal, who do a bulk of their moves early in the transfer window. Maybe Manchester United can learn from that, and it would also allow players to take part in a pre-season. Now is international break again in women's football, and then the WSL season starts on the 1st of October. Manchester United kick off the competition, or the league, away at Aston Villa, followed by a home fixture against Arsenal, Alicia Russo. It's not going to be a nice welcoming, I think, from the fans. But let me know, guys, in the comment section what you think of Manchester United's transfer window. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe for all the Manchester United women's content that you can find here on my channel. If you'd like, be sure to follow me on Twitter, where I post a bulk of the updates that I get regarding any club news that I have at MinaFootball. You can find all my socials in the bio below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, guys, it's your girl Mina. Peace.